We'll start with the DXY as we normally do, which has been fairly interesting. I mean, to a degree, because I would still argue that price is very much within a range here. So we haven't really seen much progression in terms of a breakout, but price has definitely been back and forth over the past few days, rejecting resistance, support, pretty much rejecting resistance again this morning. So maybe price is waiting for NFP on Friday. Maybe we're waiting for that to be the big catalyst to actually get the ball rolling. I can see potentially maybe a news event to get us going, to be honest. So maybe we have to wait till Friday. But at the moment, price is still rejecting the highs. That current 4-hour candle is looking pretty bearish. It does close in 2 hours, so it does have some work to do. But I am looking at the rejection in the lower time frame, really aggressive wick to the upside, really strong close. I do think we can probably see a bit of a drop there for USD. Whether it gets us back to the low of the range or not, that's a different question. But I would suggest at least halfway, around about 98.1, at least a push into this area. I do think we can get to. If momentum stays strong, then perhaps we do see a push back to the low again. But as price continues within the range, that's all I'm really looking for price to do. As I've been saying, in terms of direction, well and truly waiting for price to break resistance or break support, and then I will kind of have my directional bias kind of sorted out, at least to a level which I'm confident with, which is if we do break to the downside, then I'm looking for a push to this low. If we do break to the upside, then I'm looking for a push to that high. Whilst we're in the range, of course, is just back and forth and not really interested in terms of finding opportunities or placing trades whilst we're in that situation. But if we do break out, I do think that could lead into something interesting. EURUSD, same situation applies with this one as well. We've got equal highs over here. Price has been doing a really good job at respecting the highs and so far respecting the lows as well. Looks like more or less come to the low of the range, not quite the low of the range, but more or less price is rejecting that level of support. And again, a pretty strong close this morning. So not really too interested with the price action, in all honesty, with Euro. As I've said, coming into the week, it's well and truly the breakouts, which is what is interesting me. Again, purely more from a swing bias. I do understand that intraday there will be some opportunities to buy the lows, sell the highs 100%. But I'm looking for the bigger move, and I would expect the bigger move to happen once we do commit to a direction. Whether, of course, it's to the upside or to the downside, we're not too sure yet. But similar to the DXY, if you do break higher, looking for us to go and push back to the prior swing highs and perhaps see some new highs there as well. And of course, if you do break to the downside, then I'm looking for us to at least hit the lows at 1.139 and perhaps continue further as well. But at the moment, it's just fluctuation, bouncing off support resistance. Unless you're kind of looking to pick the lows and sell the highs, I don't see much of an opportunity there with Euro dollar and quite a lot of the USD pairs at the moment. Pound USD, same situation pretty much here as well. It looked at one point that price maybe breaking to the downside, but it looks to me that again support is doing a pretty good job and holding. You've got support once, twice. Of course, we did break through a couple of times over there, but then again, price looks like it's bouncing at that same level. I really like the wicks to the downside, strong close this morning. I think this is a strong sign to say that, okay, support is holding and perhaps we could see another rally for pound USD. And then more or less you've got the highs of the so-called range. Over here, it's not really a textbook range, but more or less resistance holding price around 1.35. Rejecting this level, I do think there's a good chance we do push back into this kind of area of resistance. And then we'll go from there. As I said, with pound coming into the week, in terms of direction, I'm either going to be looking for a push back to the high here or the low here. And what will kind of dictate that is really depending which level price managed to break through and stays beyond. So do we clear the highs and break through resistance here? Well, then I do expect us to push back to the highs, whether we're looking for longs on the breakout or waiting for some type of pullback and retest opportunity. Either which way, I'm looking for us to push back to the highs, and likewise, if we do break to the downside, I'm looking for us to push back into the lows. So pound USD, similar to euro, fluctuating between two key levels until we get the breakout, until we get price making a move above one of those levels. Is just more kind of looking to buy the lows, sell the highs with pound. So if you do get in a long position from here, I do like that idea. Basically looking to try and take advantage of a swing back to resistance, and likewise with the sells up at the high. But in terms of direction, still unclear there for pound. And again, DXY is the main thing as well. If the DXY is not clear to me, then a lot of the USD pairs won't be very clear as well. Aussie dollar, interesting. Again, we had that really aggressive sell-off from resistance, which we were talking about coming to the week. Really nice rejection. I said that price overall is really, really flat for Aussie dollar. So we're not trying to overcomplicate things and look for trend opportunities and trend following opportunities, trying to follow momentum, because there is none of that. There is none of that here with Aussie dollar. Unfortunately, we just have a very, very flat market. So when we do have these type of conditions, the best way to trade it, in my opinion anyway, is to be looking to try and sell at major highs, significant levels of resistance, and of course buy at significant levels of support. So coming into the week, we mentioned this area could be a nice area for a reaction. And that, again, that's a key word, reaction. You're not so much looking for a big swing trade here. You're more so just trying to catch reactions of key areas. It may turn into a big trade. You never know. Or it might just be a small kind of reaction off that level, and price might turn against you and you might walk away for a small win. That's up to the market at the end of the day. But yeah, really nice rejection from that level. Looks like we're kind of stalling, coming back into this demand zone consolidation. I wouldn't really be trying to pick up any trades from here. It's not really a significant area, kind of in the middle of a range, so to speak. Equal lows, equal highs. That's right in the middle, so I wouldn't really want to be doing anything there. If I'm looking for a new opportunity for Aussie dollar, it would be if price makes a move back to resistance again at 0.656, or makes a move into support and then buys off the low there. That's when I would say, okay, yeah, I think we've got a nice trade there. So that's all I'm looking for Aussie dollar. And of course, we've got the highs here as well. Really significant resistance. If this doesn't hold, then that becomes our next significant area to keep in mind. So yeah, Aussie dollar, really flat market. USD is flat as well, so I'm not really getting much directional bias from USD either. So best thing to do here, I would say, just pick the highs, pick the lows, and keep a close eye on the trade, because yeah, I'm not really seeing a swing bias, and there's not necessarily a direction I'm looking to trade towards. It's more so, okay, price is at a strong level, rejecting well, there should likely be a bounce here. Whereas for New Zealand dollar, there is slight direction in play, and might have missed the opportunity actually with New Zealand dollar. Looking at the channel here, connecting the lows, connecting the highs, was looking for price to hopefully test the upper end of the channel, which unfortunately we did not see. Looking for price to come into this area and then see a move back down. Unfortunately, that was not the case. We did tap into the area of supply, so price did respect it. Nice brief consolidation, strong drop lower. Then price did come back for the retest, but unfortunately, no test of the trend line. So we did lack that confidence. But of course, in hindsight, we could see there was a lovely move down. But same thing with a channel. I'm not really prepared to try and get involved in the middle of things. This dotted line there represents the middle of the channel. That for me is the worst area to try and get involved. The better areas, again, are always going to be at the high and at the low. So if price can make its way back to the low of the channel, naturally could be keeping an eye out for some buying opportunities. And of course, likewise with the highs, if you push to the high, reject well, there's still key confluence here. As long as we don't break out, I think shorts look good. So New Zealand dollar, just looking to play the low and the high of the channel. At the moment, in the middle, not trading at any sensible area. So the plan is to very much stay away and be patient. But should we get back to the high or the low, that's when I'll start to be a bit more interested. I forgot to take a look at dollar CAD, didn't I? Let's go over to dollar CAD. In terms of dollar CAD's interesting because I really like the shorts in dollar CAD, but it was quite aggressive in terms of the retracement. We are slowing down a little bit, which I do like the looks of, but I do want us to be a little bit more slower, because this kind of looks like a bowl shape pattern, which is not really your textbook retracement pattern. You want price to resemble something more like this, not something more like this. And again, this is more of a reversal pattern than a pullback pattern. This is more of a pullback than a reversal. Of course, the market is funny. Just because it's more of a reversal pattern doesn't mean 100% of the time it will lead to reversal. Sometimes you do see a continuation, and of course sometimes you would see a reversal. So again, you can't really speak in absolutes, but you can speak in probabilities, and that doesn't necessarily give us the highest probability of a good pullback. But things can develop. We might turn corrective and become a lot more corrective, and the opportunity could improve as time continues. And that's really what I'm banking on now for USD CAD. I'm still pretty bearish bias. Again, we're respecting key resistance on the weekly chart, which has really set the tone. So if we do manage to respect this, eventually I do see us rolling over, unless we do a crazy breakout. So yeah, I do eventually see us rolling over. Really nice supply zone, strong drop to the downside. So naturally just looking to see what we can do at that zone. And things look good. Looking to take some shorts, at least back into support. We could probably go further, but I think that'll be a healthy target for the week. So dollar CAD, definitely a USD pair, which I do like the look of. As for gold looking good. I have to say, momentum's looking good. Well and truly broke through the all-time highs here at 3,500. We have well and truly put that to bed, and momentum is still very, very strong. So again, we have broken out of a big consolidation. We have broken out of a big range. So if this is well and truly the case, we could see gold explode. Typically, the longer the consolidation, the bigger the breakout. And gold's been in a consolidation for about 3 or 4 months here. So we could see price well and truly pick up some really nice momentum. I mean, we're doing that already. But we've got the next big psychological level at 3,600. Of course, we just moved past 3,500. So that will be the next target. Of course, we've got the big one at 4K, but that's still quite some distance away. So I wouldn't get too caught up in that just yet. But 3,600 is probably the next big one for me. So in terms of opportunities for gold, as I said yesterday, you're just looking for pullbacks. You're not trying to overcomplicate this. I wouldn't try and look to pick highs, fade momentum, none of that. I'll just be looking to try and flow with the market, continue the uptrend until we see some red flags, big selling pressure, breaking structure. Then, of course, we can pause the bias. But for now, still seeing really strong candles breaking us to the upside. Really nice zone here, which will act like an area of demand if price can come back and retest that. I think it's a smart place for a buy and targets back to where we came from and beyond. So that's very much what I like to see with gold. And silver, we're getting very much the similar thing. Didn't quite see some new highs yesterday. I mean, we did just about, but not in the same manner as gold. But it doesn't have to be. We still do have some very nice areas, which I like the look of, trading just below price here. So again, a push to either of these areas would be interesting. And provided we see some healthy rejection, provided the pullback looks healthy as well, and the confirmations look good, I would definitely love to get in some longs for silver. Looking at the daily chart, trend looks like it's still in motion. I still do expect us to eventually get to 50 for silver, so in my book, there's a long way to go. So yeah, just looking at pullbacks, momentum looks good, trend looks healthy. Plan is just to keep looking to find healthy pullbacks and keep buying it until, again, proven otherwise, maybe some heavy selling pressure, price start to show some reversal patterns. At the moment, not seeing any signs of that. So yeah, USD is still indecisive. Of course, gold and silver doing their own thing right now. Typically, you will probably see a weak USD at the moment with how gold and silver are moving, but not quite the case. In terms of DXY itself, very, very flat. So not interested at all.